Hey guys, Alicia here, and I have just watched the brand new trailer that dropped at San Diego Comic-Con for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Now we're going to go through the trailer and see if we can Alohomora some secrets. First off, you can see Colin Farrell's character is walking up the steps of this ruined house, and a voiceover tells us that some sort of strange beast has completely gutted the place and this street, going up through the cobbles. Now, it's not clear exactly which beast it is. He's described as having white shining eyes, and the only animal I can think of that has that in the main series of books is a thestral. But this is probably a new creature. No thestral I know of ripped through a street and goes underground. Having looked through Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, there are 85 beasts in total in the textbook. It could be the Antipodean opali, which is a dragon described as having pupilless eyes. But that still doesn't explain the going underground, so this could be a brand new beast that's being created for the film. Now, Colin Farrell's character here is a new guy called Percival Graves, who, according to Pottermore, he's the wizard who's been tasked with tracking Newt Scamander and his creatures down. He's a super powerful aura, and he's the right-hand man of the kind of president of the equivalent of the Ministry of Magic in America, who I'll get on into a minute. So as you can see here, this is the Ministry of Magic in America, but it's not called the Ministry of Magic. It's called the Magical Congress of the United States of America, MACUSA for short. It was formed in 1693 as a result of the Salem witch trials. So technically, it's older than the real US government itself. And it's a super, super powerful entity. It unites all of the wizarding community, provides the laws, the regulations, and most importantly, keeps magic and all of its associations secret from the No-Mages, which is the US word for muggles. And like its cousins across the pond, there are also house elves who are working in MACUSA. You've seen them back in the original series of movies. There was a guy called Dobby the house elf who we met in Chamber of Secrets. And they're a race of creatures who live to serve wizards. Here, it seems that in the US kind of governing body, it cleans the wands of all the witches and wizards who come through. But this is just a tiny selection of the beasts that we're going to be seeing in this trailer. This is the main kind of auditorium, though, where the kind of center of power sits for MACUSA. And this lady here is the woman who's in charge of it all. She's called Seraphina Pickery, and we know that she was the president of MACUSA from 1920 to 1928, according to J.K. Rowling's history. Interestingly, according to Pottermore, she's actually one of the few students who have ever been offered a place in all 4 of Ilvermorny houses during the school's sorting ceremony. But let's talk about more non-magical things. This guy here is called Jacob Kowalski, and he's a nomad, or a muggle, who accidentally releases all of the beasts out of Newt's magically expanded suitcase and kicks off the events of the entire film. He works in a factory, but he wants to become a baker, and he's just broken up with his girlfriend before meeting Newt. He's played by a guy called Dan Fogler, who's a stand-up comedian and a voice actor. You might remember he voiced Zeng in Kung Fu Panda, and he ends up becoming one of the closest allies of Newt Scamander as he races around New York and tries to put all of his beasts back into the suitcase. This is really hard to see because it's so blurry, but I reckon this could be a Gnarl, which, according to Rowling's lore, most muggles confuse for a hedgehog. If you look closely, you can see it's got these kind of spines sticking out of it. It looks a little bit hedgehog-like. And it's a pretty tame creature, though, as we find out, there are a few more aggressive ones that Newt's got bottled up inside his suitcase.
We're going to recapture my creatures before they get hurt.
This is a billywig. It's described in Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in the textbook as an insect around ½ an inch long and a vivid sapphire blue. At the bottom of the body is a long, thin sting. So you can see that sting pretty clearly in the trailer, but it's clearly hovering above a bunch of No-Mages who have absolutely no idea what they're seeing. They're probably considering calling pest control. And that's kind of a really big feature of this movie. It's going to be trying to contain the creatures and also explain the sightings of all these creatures to the No-Mages who have seen it. This creature is a little bit harder to identify, but I think it might be an Occamy, mostly because in the textbook, it's described as having a serpentine body and being aggressive to all who approach. It's shown in the trailer just as a voiceover says that the most vicious creatures on the planet, so that kind of matches up with the aggression. This guy here is a guy called Henry Shaw Sr. He's an American nomad whose son is a pretty powerful politician. He's called Henry Shaw Jr. and he's an American senator. Henry Shaw Sr. is played by Jon Voight, and I think he's going to become a pretty powerful force. Now, this is a brand new creature to the Harry Potter universe. We've never seen it before in any of the books, in any of the movies, and it's got a slightly terrifying name of Swooping Evil. It was confirmed by Pottermore as new to the series, but it has, quote, a small object, possibly a cocoon, that it's released from. If you look in this scene, in Newt Scamander's right hand, you can see he catches it and it goes into this kind of small ball. The final beast that we see, though, is this guy. Looks a bit like a Yeti, but he's almost definitely a demiguise, described in the book Fantastic Beasts as a peaceful, herbivorous beast, something like a graceful ape in appearance with large black doleful eyes, more often than not hidden by its hair. The whole body is covered with long, fine, silky, silvery hair. Demiguise pelts are highly valued as the hair may be spun into invisibility cloaks. So it's clearly one of the creatures that was released from Newt's suitcase. And this guy, or kind of its cousin, potentially is the founder of Harry's invisibility cloak that we see later in the movies. So that's everything that we could uncover from the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them trailer. If you found anything in the trailer yourself, maybe you've uncovered what you think one of the beasts could be that we've not been able to identify, let us know in the comment section below. And in the meantime, for all the latest news, leaks, rumours, everything surrounding the Harry Potter universe, keep it locked here to IGN.